All right, and I'm starting the recording. We are live streaming at the same time, so maybe some questions that I answer. This is for VIP members only, so just Discord channel that's going to be able to see this video. I'm not going to post it on public, on YouTube or anything, although it will be a YouTube video. Let's see. Let's just make sure there's no important signals coming through this morning. Spurto. I don't know what this Trump X one is. It must be a brand new one, but it does look like somebody's accumulating it anyway. Yeah, it's brand new. I don't know. It's already too high. 33 million market cap. I wouldn't want to mess with that. But Spurto we've talked about before. Let's just see what it's doing. Oh, okay, it came down a lot. So we made a little bit on this one. We've got one of our, curated wallets that are a smart money wallet here on Nansen that they did purchase some of it. Let's just see. I know we made some off of this previously. Maybe it was this pump that we made it off of. Let's see, so this got to about 40 million market cap, which is huge for a, kind of a random, maybe this is a Matt Fury thing, I'm not sure, but let's see. Oh, it's a 4chan meme, okay. So pretty impressive that it hit 40 million. I don't know. I mean, this could be the bottom on it where this wick is. The problem is, you just never know on these meme coins if the team's done with it or, if they're gonna keep pushing it. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's just hard to tell on this. I think for me, it's too risky. You could bring up the RSI. Remember the 30-70 rule? Yeah, I mean, it's hitting 30 RSI right now. So one way you could play this, I mean, one of our smart money wallets is getting in this one. So, you could take that into account, or you could just wait for the 30 RSI or the RSI to come back up and reclaim the 30 RSI. So currently it's way oversold. If enough eyes got on it, yeah, it would pump back up. But what I would say is wait until, like if you get RSI coming below the 70 like this, then just wait for it to cross back up at that 30 line, which is this bottom line right here. That's the way I would play it anyway. And then that could be the bottom. All right, so let's get into what we were going to talk about here. So what I'm going to do, this is the RWA spreadsheet. I think all of you have it by now. If you don't, all you have to do is go to, which is it? Research. Okay, research channel. Click on the pinned messages. Click on each of these links and then request access. And usually within 24 hours, you'll have it. All right, so that's what I'm looking at here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go top to bottom. I'm just using CTRL click here to open these up. I am recording this, right? Yeah. All right, CFG. And we'll look at every single one of these, though since it is a lot of them, I'm going to have to go through them quickly. But they're all, as you can see, you can see if they're docs, you can see, well, if they're already launched or not, what the market cap was back when we listed them. Which one am I on here? Maybe I have too many of these opened. That's not cool. Surely it's not down for maintenance, so it'd be bad timing. No. It's not. It just didn't work. Okay, that's SLN. Factor. Okay. Okay, so these are the high conviction tokens, and you can see, what funds are involved in it. You can see what partnerships. Some of these haven't launched yet, like Mogul. I don't think it has anyway. Okay, let's start off with the very top. So we're going to go in order of This would be highest market cap to lowest for the high conviction plays. Yeah, okay, so let's see. Yeah, here's what I was talking about a second ago. So, this dipped under 30 RSI and then it came back above it. So if you wanted to play it safe, what you would wait for is the 30 RSI dip and then the cross back above the 30 RSI there. So this would have been a good play. I mean, it's not huge as far as how much money you could have made, but you would have bought the bottom and that's like a 25% gain. It's a less risky, like when you see price starting to come down like this and it's in a downtrend, then just wait for it to hit 30 RSI or near it if it's one of your favorite coins, and then jump in. And as far as engineering robo, let's see what it's saying. I mean, it's clearly bearish. Hang on one second. I'm getting a phone call from my mom. I just want to make sure she's okay. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, what we were talking about is engineering robo. Let's just see what the signals are showing. There's AI sell. I think that's the main signal I wanted to show you. Change candle color, dashboard. Yeah, so everything is bearish right now, clearly. And that makes sense. I mean, Bitcoin's weak. Like if we go over here and look at Bitcoin. Oops, that's the wrong one. Here we go. We rejected at 62.5 or so. And now we're at another support area. So it needs to hold this. But for now, if it's not above this 62.5, 62.6, then it's clearly bearish to me, and it's probably going to come back down to this blue line. Yeah, so, all alts pretty much are going to be bearish in that instance. Though, if you're using the 30-70 rule, you're usually going to be okay. You don't have to have something like engineering robo, but this takes all the guesswork out of it, right? I've got that on the, I've got it now here on the alert channel, engineering robo AI alerts, and not every single token, in the existence of crypto is going to be on here. It's mostly our spreadsheet tokens. It's our long-term play tokens, which are these. So we've got most of them on there, plus, some requests were put on there as well. So if you have any requests, feel free to let me know, and I'll put them on there as well. But as far as I know, I've got all of them on there that everybody requested so far. All right, so you can see, you got the AI sell signal. You could have gotten out early, and we are above the bullish line. So, if this was one of your tokens, then you're okay still. But if it was to close a daily candle below, then, you would look to support. And that's not to say that support would be the last area it could come down to. I mean, it could come down further. These are lines that I put here manually based on support resistance. But when you lose certain levels, then it goes down to the next level. So if that was to happen, we would have to look into it. So that's Ondo. And Pendle, this is another popular one, bounced right off the support line that I had here, which was the 30 RSI, same exact thing. But just be aware that just because this thing hits the 30 RSI doesn't mean that that's it. I mean, it could still reject here, come down some more, and then finally break out, later in September or something. So I just want to make it clear that 30-70 rule, although it works pretty often, like you can see it got close to the 30 right here, and then you could have made money off this move, but then it rejected again. So it's more of a short-term play unless we're in an uptrend for Bitcoin. So if we're in an uptrend for Bitcoin and you bought at the 30 RSI, then you just hold until Bitcoin looks weak again. That would be the idea there. So currently bearish on this one too. If a daily candle closes below support, you probably want to be out of this one. And let's see, we're just going in order of, this is a really good one because it had a nice uptrend. And the reason why I leave this other free indicator on here, and I'll let you know which one it is. It's called the Phoenix or the Arty. I think if you just type in the Arty, you can click on it here. And then the settings for this, maybe you just want to use this, the 30-70 RSI plus this free indicator, and that's fine. You don't have to pay a dime for any of these paid indicators. Let me see what I want to show you. So just disregard everything below where it says big here. Just disregard all of this. If you set this up, you just want these settings right here. And you can pause the video on the recording if you want to see this. And you may want to go over here to style and which one is it? Click off tables, because it'll show a table if you don't. But what this does is, as long as it's green, you stay in, but then when it turns red, you get out. And it's really that simple. And all it is a moving average, but it's just easier to see. But clearly, Engineering Robo got you in a little bit earlier than this free indicator. And that was about where RSI crossed up to 50, which is important. And then it kept you in until here. So what Engineering Robo does is it will keep you out of big downtrends. So like if this thing would have just kept going down, you would have gotten out pretty early and not had to deal with that drawdown. I would suspect, because this one's gone up quite a bit, that it's going to fall back below this TP1. I mean, it could keep going to TP2, but I think it's less likely because it seems like the impulses coming up are getting shorter and shorter. And you've got RSI coming down, momentum's coming out of it. And as long as you're below 50 RSI, in my opinion, that's bearish. And that's on a daily chart there. So currently you've got an AI sell signal, and Engineering Robo found it before it got under 50 RSI, so that's good. So just trade like a robot. I mean, if this one is in the the Engineering Robo signals, and if you don't want to have to go through here and scroll through all these, then just go up here and type, what would it be, OM, and then hit enter. And you can see all the signals here. Now, if you want to just search within a channel, just within Engineering Robo, then what you would do, at least on a PC, is you would hold down CTRL and you would hit F while you're clicking just in any random empty area. And then it'll search in # Engineering Robo AI Alert. So here's another way you can do it. Just type in colon and then the # and then type in ENG and then click that. And then just type OM, or let's say FLT. I know that one came, well, no, it didn't. What's one here? ARCX. So just type in ARC. Why is that not coming up? Oh, maybe you have to type the whole thing. Let me try it. Oh, okay. So you have to type the whole symbol, FLT USDT. Okay. So then that way you could find out what token was on here. But that's a little bit more difficult just because some of these have a weird looking symbol. So I don't know how you do that, honestly. I mean, you could look up buy signals only. What if you just type in buy? What would happen? Okay, so if you typed in buy, all the buy signals would come up. That would help filter it a little bit anyway. Okay, so this one, yeah, momentum's coming out. I think it's going to curl down some. Next one is CFG sitting right on support. The way it's acting, it could come down some more. It is under the 50. I mean, this was a 30 touch on the RSI, and there was a little bit of a pump there, like a temporary one. You know what? Now that I look at this, this does look like a bullish divergence on this one, because you got price coming down while momentum's coming up. There's no guarantee on this, though. Usually these are pretty good plays, but we would have to have Bitcoin hold its gains. We can't have Bitcoin dumping real bad. So anyway, this does look like it could come up, but I think it would be a temporary move anyway. So remember, the 30 RSI idea is, like say back here, for example, you would buy at the 30 RSI and then you would sell at the 70. So you could have sold here or you could have sold there. Here's another example. You buy at the 30, you sell at the 70. Another example, 30, 70. Or you could even hold it until it crossed back below the 50. Back over here, you get closer to the top maybe. I mean, it's easy to look back, hindsight, right? But it does work. The only caveat there I would say is, if you're in a true uptrend for Bitcoin or for crypto in general, you don't want to sell everything just because it touches 70. it's going to be more of a slow grind back down like this over many months. That's typically what happens anyway. And I'm still looking at, sometime around U.S. presidential election for that next leg up. CTC. Yeah, so this one's been bearish for, since April? Yeah, it's still bearish. I don't really see much here. There's kind of a little bit of a bullish divergence or a double bottom. But again, it's really going to depend on Bitcoin. So this is credit coin, CTC. These support lines are important. You could buy at the support line. You don't even have to consider what RSI is doing even, because these support lines are good. But if a daily candle was to close below it, you'd have to let the trade go. So just remember that. Okay, Dusk Network, which is Dusk, that's the symbol. This one, just looking at a different way of viewing it, the Engineering AI Robo chart, or what do you want to call it, dashboard, everything is bearish currently. So, if you're somebody that doesn't like to take chances and you just want to wait for a good solid signal, it's not really your signal yet. But if you like taking chances, then you want to buy, especially if it gets under the 30 RSI and gets back above, then that's where you'd want to buy, where this wick happened. But currently, because you can always draw your, if you want to do the charting yourself, you can always draw your trend lines like this. And as long as it's below that trend line, or especially if it's below the 50 RSI, you don't want to get in. This one looks mostly sideways. So when it breaks out, it's kind of like XRP, it could break out pretty big, but it just doesn't look like it's ready just yet. Goldfinch, this is a pretty popular one. Let me get this out of the way. This is just fib lines. This is a fairly popular one here, and I think it will do well. A lot of these could do well, but again, we're just bearish mostly. What happened at the 30? Yeah, see, sometimes you can hit the 30 and it'll still dip one more time. So even if you would have taken this trade on the 30 RSI and you would have seen this rejection and it was still holding, you could have gotten out right there at the 70. So you would have made a little bit more than what you put in. But see how it's rejecting at the 50 RSI right now? It's just not a good look. So I suspect this one will come back down to support, just a guess. C-Pool, another pretty popular one, or especially last leg up in March or whatever it was. This was a popular one. People were talking about it. Oh, so this one brings up a good point. You can use your Fibonacci, like you grab the tool right here. It's called fib retracement. And then just go from the very bottom of the move and then, click right here at the very top. And usually you're going to get at least a move back to the golden pocket here, 618 to 65. It almost hit it, and it still could. Or you'll come all the way back down here to the 786. At the very least, you're going to hit the 0.5, unless, like if it's a really strong bullish move, like on the next bull leg up, sometimes you just see them come to the 382. So it has to be a really strong uptrend. It can come to the 382 and then bounce from there. But like the current move that we're in right now, you're at least going to get a 0.5 retracement, golden pocket, or 786. And this surprises people a lot of times. It dips further than what they think it's going to. But yeah, it did hit the 30 RSI. A lot of these are making the same move, right? Hits 30 RSI, probably going to reject at the 50 RSI and make one more move down, is my guess. But if Bitcoin gets strong again, then that would change. You'd start to see these push back up. IXS token, and all I'm doing here is just going down the list. So we've done all of these here. Now we're at IXS, which is about 110 million market cap, or it was when it was put on this chart. Or spreadsheet, I mean. So it had a nice move, and it's just real slow. What was that one we were looking at? Yeah, OM. So notice how this one had a nice move, and now it's just really slow to roll over. That's exactly what's happening here with IXS. So it's almost the exact same look where, what was it, OM? So OM's kind of like right up in here, and this one's already doing that dip. You may notice how they look similar. So if we take our fib again, go from here to here, it's hit the 382 once. It almost hit the 0.5 back here. This was a warning. So I would say at least it's coming to the 0.5. Most likely it'll get down here to the golden pocket. I don't know if it'll come much more. So those are areas you can look for. MPL, Maple, looks like we could be getting some momentum coming up, but it's a little bit sketchy. It's mostly sideways really, which price action is sideways too, so it's matching. So not a whole lot to see here. I mean, the 3 hour, yeah, it's showing bullish, but you just have to be careful with these because I don't know if it's ready yet. I would say in this case, wait until it gets above the bullish line or buy its support, because it had a nice little move here and it hasn't quite done a 50% retracement or a golden pocket. So those are the two things you'd want to watch out for on a token like this that's just going sideways. I wouldn't be interested unless it got a daily candle above bullish or a wick or something touch support, or maybe it got down to 30 RSI. That's fine too. Bosun, this one's massively followed by people. They're very interested in this one. It had what I thought was going to produce. I mean, it did produce a pretty good move, but here's if we turn this off, it'd be a lot easier to see. There it is. So you had kind of an inverted head and shoulders here. Nice move out of it. I mean, the inverted part could even been down there, but now you're getting this this pretty quick retracement. I mean, it's fairly well, I don't know, April to now, that's not real quick, but the angle that it's falling at tells me that it's going to find a bottom here pretty quick, just because of the angle that it's coming in on. If it was more slow, I would say it could come all the way back to support, and it still could, but you've already touched 30 RSI once. I think if it was to touch 30 RSI again, it'd probably be a pretty good area to get in. Sorry, my niece is coming here saying up. She wants to see what's going on. So let's see, trade is the next one. Polytrade, it's another fairly popular one. I know a lot of you ask about this one, but it looks a lot like the last one we were looking at. I mean, notice how many of these are doing the same thing, where we think they'll probably come down to the golden pocket, which is right where the support level is. So that's where I would watch for a bounce for this one. Usually, like we're saying, usually at least I want to see a 50% retrace, but right here the golden pocket could be enough. So let's see, it did touch 30 right there. I mean, these 30 touches can make you some money, but notice how this one right here was kind of a fake out. See that right there? Well, I take that back. It did have a little bit of a pump, but Engineering Robo gave you that AI sell signal, so you wouldn't have been in anyway. And everything's bearish over here on the dashboard for that. So notice these all kind of have the same story right now. They're all under 50 RSI, just some are kind of right there near the 30. This one, consolidation, could have a nice breakout, but has to get above the bullish line. Support line would be a good buy on this one, it seems like. This is D factor. Let's see what else. Let's see. Okay, so this one actually broke under the support. So I need to move that down there. What is this one? Smart layer. I never was really interested in this one. I had looked at it a few times, but look how bearish it is. I mean, it's just staying under the 30 RSI mostly. At some point, it is going to find that base. But, I mean, why would you want to be in something like this, right? The daily is way oversold. It's been nothing but down. And really, our bullish line is more like here now. And TP1 would be have to be moved to there. Sometimes I have to adjust these if they're just really bearish. But, until this one shows something, even buying at 30 RSI is just not smart because, it's so weak, right? Like it came off of this 30 RSI and didn't even touch the 50 even, and that's bad. So I would say don't even worry about this one right now. It's just not worth looking at. And it looks like we're kind of getting into these that are that way. Back here, I must have been talking about momentum starting to build up, and then, it did have a pump, but it was very temporary. What did it do? Yeah, it did like a 2x, but still, it was a very risky play, to even do something like that. But it did make the move. So, I'm not really interested in this one either. Same thing here. If you see any that are staying and they just keep, especially if they keep getting under 30 RSI, it's just not worth it. And this one I need to move the support to. And that's Zend Finance. So even though these are high, what did we call them? High conviction, they're on the lower end. They're like the lower market caps. So they're just not as reliable yet. That was, what was it? Smart Layer. Okay. So this one looks a little bit better, but still, notice how, it did get up to the 50 RSI, but it rejected, and now it's back at the 30. So you could buy it at support, but I'm not real clear if this support line is solid or not, just because it's new and there's no history to go back and look and say, okay, there was some support back here that we can rely on, but it's just not clear enough on something like this, so I would stay away from this one. Yeah, it's just interesting how these lower market caps, there's not a good looking RSI on any of these. So I would say same thing on Zend here. Probably stay away from that one. This one looks a little bit better. Credify. It's really slow to, it had a big downtrend. Actually, that's really interesting. Look how this little structure here, it's almost like an M, right? If you go back to these other ones, where was it? Yeah, this one kind of has the same structure. So maybe it doesn't have much longer on open custody protocol here. It could bounce. Yeah, so this one rejected pretty close to where one of the tops was, and now it's coming back down. I suspect Credify here will come back down to support, and this would be a good buy. Yeah, that looks like a good solid support level because it broke out there, and now it's going to come back and test it. So that would be a good buy, but this one's kind of slow. Sometimes it has a nice pump, but most of the time, most coins are going to spend a lot of their time going down or going sideways. It's very, very few, how would I want to say it? Very little of the time that these tokens spend in an uptrend. It's not much time spent doing that, I guess is my point. I don't know how to say that exactly, but you can see how this downtrend lasts many, many months, and then all of a sudden, within half a month or whatever, what is that? Yeah, like half a month or a full month is when you get the pump. So 25% of the time, or 10 to 20% of the time, it spins in an uptrend, but most of the other time is sideways or down. That's the way I wanted to say it. And then there's that M structure again that we were talking about. So that other one, open, is it open? Yeah. That's where it's doing it right there. So it could be close to a bottom. All right, let's close every one of these. Let's see what else we have. We'll just run through the rest of these pretty quick. I know it's a lot to go through because I know for a fact a lot of you wanted to look at token. So I definitely want to get through these at minimum. Okay, so these are considered more medium. And I'm not even going to look at the low because I don't think I am anyway. Well, let's just go ahead and look at them. I would suspect they're going to be more like the lower end, these high conviction market caps. I suspect they're going to be more like this where they're not really recovering just yet. All right, this is Propy. I actually like this one, even though it's an older token. I think there's a possibility it's from 2021 even, but it's showing 2022 here. So the reason why I like it, it's never been through a full bull cycle. and it has some nice, when it does get moving, it has some nice impulses, like they happen really quick. So my first guess is that it's probably going to hit this support line, and it might be a good buy area, but it could come down to support, secondary support here. So it's kind of like this would be a 50% retracement, and this would be more like the golden pocket retracement, if you're using the fibs. And then TP2, I bet it probably hits about $31. So, maybe a 30X. Can't guarantee that, of course, but if it does get above all-time high, I think that's a very good chance that happens. And of course, we need Bitcoin to do its thing, right? We've got to have a second big bullish move by Bitcoin. Let's see. So we're under 50 RSI. And what does the signal show? It should show, well, the most recent is an AI buy, but anytime, just so you know, anytime you get a signal and then it turns gray, that means be careful, because it could be, the trend could be reversing. Like right here, you had AI sell, it had some gray here, and then the trend reversed all of a sudden to AI buy. But now you're being more careful because this is a support area, and if it loses this, then it comes down to this next support area. But it could be building up for a move. It's just really hard to tell. You are getting some more bullish momentum here. Yeah, so it's just really hard to read this one right now, especially with Bitcoin being weak. But if you do have engineering robo, then you would just look over here and say, okay, everything's bearish or neutral right now. So it's pretty risky for me to be getting into this, so I'm going to wait. AI social intelligence score is a 4. I did buy this one, but I got out of it when I saw Bitcoin being weak. So I took a little bit of a loss, but I'll buy back into it, I'm sure. Here's TokenFi. There are a few of you that have been asking about this one, and probably rightfully so. It did make a pretty good move off the 30 RSI. And I want to say that we talked about this. What is this, the 5th? Yeah. So I'm pretty sure this was one of the ones that maybe smart money was accumulating or something like that. And it bounced right off support. What is this move? I mean, you're not going to get the exact bottom, but that's about a 2x move, which a lot of these tokens have done. So currently it is above the 50 RSI, which is very rare, right? I mean, every single one of these we're looking at really hasn't done anything for a while. And there's a chance that it's back above this trend line, possibly. These trend lines aren't perfect, but if it can hold 50 RSI, then it's bullish. So the way you would play it is, as long as it stays above this bullish line and doesn't close a daily candle below, then you could stay in. And let's say that it broke down on you. Maybe it came down 20%. Well, that's fine. I mean, you lost 20%, sure, but what if it just keeps going down like this? Keeps doing one of these. Look how much you saved by not staying in, and you still got your capital sitting there that you can put in something else that looks better. So that's the reason why you don't want to be caught in a drawdown if possible. So these are the two things you watch for. Stays above 50, stays above the bullish line. AI social intelligence score is a 4 and it's green. That's good. Multi-time frame is bullish. Daily is bullish. So you've got some signals there that tell you, yeah, maybe it can hold its gains and move up more. Hi-Fi Finance, yeah, same thing. I mean, it kind of looks like it wants to get bullish. 30 RSI was a good purchase, but everything's bearish, right? I mean, you probably don't want to be in this one right now, just to be safe. TrueFi, what is this one showing? Yeah, bearish on this one. I don't know why the signals, I guess I didn't have them clicked. Yeah, so it's got an AI sell signal there. RSI is below 50. Again, you don't have to have, I mean, you could be just looking at this. Of course, that's the free indicator, but you don't even need that. I mean, if you just want to use RSI, that's fine. And you would just go up here and type RSI. And there it is right there, relative strength index. Yeah, so under 50 is bearish. When it hits the 30 line, if it goes under the 30 line, you just wait for it to cross back above. And this is oversold. And then if if it was to touch 70, get above it, and then cross back down, you'd sell there or sell a portion, and that's considered overbought or overheated. But that's why I leave that, like if we were just looking at this, that's why I leave that free indicator on all these charts that you can, like every one of you can go on here on the spreadsheet and click any one of these charts anytime you want, just so you know. But that's why I leave that, this free indicator on here so you can kind of see, as long as this is green, you stay in. When it turns red, you get out. It's a really good free indicator. And for those that joined late, if you did, I recorded what the settings on this indicator are, so you can go back and pause that and set it up yourself if you want. But you got negative momentum right now. Price is mostly going sideways. It's above support. So, if you wanted to buy when it comes back down to support, that's fine. But just remember, if it gets a daily candle close below support, you'd want to get out until it got back above that support. Or if, maybe we need to move the line down further. So really that's the name of the game, is you're using any line, doesn't matter what indicator it is, as a buy area or a sell area. If price gets under, you just wait for acceptance back above, and that tells you that people are starting to get back in and it's ready to move up. Or price comes up here, it loses it, and especially if it rejects and starts coming back down like that, then you get out. So there's two different ways to look at it if you're looking at these lines. And same thing happens down here. It gets below, accepts back above, that's bullish. Or up here at the 70, gets above, gets back below, that's bearish. And then the 50 line is kind of like a median price where people are saying, okay, I don't know if I want to buy or sell. And there's a lot of, the price tends to gravitate around that middle line most of the time, because you got the bulls and the bears fighting against each other. So it has to be above that 50 line to be truly bullish, is the point, or below to be bearish. LTO getting near support here. Touched the 30 a couple different times. There's no bullish divergence just yet. And what you want to see out of that is, when price is coming down, you want to see momentum coming up. So in order to get excited about this one, you'd want to see something like this start to happen, and especially if it got above the 50 RSI. So just remember, a bullish divergence is when price is coming down and momentum starting to come up. Doesn't matter what indicator you're looking at, but RSI is an easy one to look at. I wish I could find you a quick, I guess this would be a good one. So if you look at this right here, you could say this is a bearish divergence in a way, but really it's more like a lower high. A bearish divergence would be more like if this would have created a higher high right there, while this was creating a lower low. So I just wanted to show the opposite of that. I think this is a really good one to buy at the support level, LTO. If you like this token, just because look at all the support that was here and it regained it. So it seems like a lot of people step in here to buy it when it gets down in this area. People that are patient are buying in this area, I guess is the best way to put it. Not recommending this token, I'm just saying, if it's one that you like. Opulus lost support. It's kind of in a support area down, about right there. I had to move it because it lost that support. So this one really hasn't done much. Mostly sideways consolidation, and usually the longer something is in a longer term sideways consolidation, then when it finally does pump, it's going to have a nice move. I think this is like a music type project. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, so momentum currently is to the downside. It's clearly bearish, but since it's near support level, if you do like this token and you wanted to just get a small position, then this is where you'd want to buy it. And then if it loses support, just get out, if it does a daily candle below. So that would be my, that's kind of how I'm approaching it. And I've been talking about that over the last couple of months, is I'm slowly buying, right? I'm not throwing all the money, and only use what you're willing to lose. Obviously, you want to pay your bills and all that. But for money that you do want to commit to crypto, just make sure that while Bitcoin's weak like this, you just want to slowly accumulate. I mean, that's what the whales do. So you find your levels that you want to buy at. Maybe it's a support level. And then, if you have, say, a total of, well, we'll just go by percentages. Say you've got, 100% of the money that you want to put into crypto is sitting there on the side. Well, maybe you only throw 5% in on this trade. You have to decide what that is. I'm just giving you an example. And then that way you can, I actually did an education thing on that. Where is it at? So right here, I was making the point that accumulation, you want to go wide first, and then you go deep. So, week 1, you might buy token 1 through 5, and then week 2, if it dips some more, then maybe there's a certain token that you have more conviction, and you'd buy more of that specific token within those 5. And then, week 3, there's a dip, you buy a little bit more of maybe 1 or 2 of them, and then week 4, there's a pump, and you're still buying, even though it's pumping, because you want to accumulate for the, the major move. And so you'd buy more of maybe, just one token. So these are your higher conviction tokens that you're buying more of. And that's in the education channel if you want to look at it. Okay, yeah, so this is just a slow grind down by Domani protocol here. It's just more of the same, right? I mean, it's under 50 RSI. Nothing real interesting with something like this. Had a pretty good move initially. So it's just a slow bleed for this one. And I mean, 13x is nice, but this was back in September, October, when everything else moved. If it gets down to support, yeah, you may want to consider it. Although the buy area on one of these, you always want to look to the shoulder on these retraces. So the retracement area on this one could be something like that, because that whole shoulder right there, it could find support in any of those areas. So kind of right in there would be your support area. What is this one? Bricken. I mean, there is some support here, but I think I want to move this down here. Yeah, there's a lot more support right in this area previously. So watch right in here on this one. But look at that. I mean, it is trying to get some momentum coming up like we were talking about. I don't know that I would call that a true, I don't know that I would call that a true, is that a bullish divergence maybe? I don't know. There's not enough information there, I don't think, yet to call it a bullish divergence, because these have to be equal. I mean, really this line isn't correct. To make it equal to this, you would have to draw from here. And it didn't really do this where it dipped all the way down. So my guess is this is just going to come up to 50 RSI and then probably reject one more time. But yeah, support area is a spot to buy this one. Klima Dow. Oh, this is really interesting. So remember we talked about this one, and we were saying, okay, I'm going to turn this off. So we were saying, okay, we've got a nice triangle here. If it breaks to the upside, then you probably want to be in. And I don't remember if we talked after this had happened. I think we did. But let's say you were looking at this. I'm actually going to have to get rid of this line. Okay. Let's say you were looking at this right here and it hadn't done anything yet. We like these triangles, right? Because the breakout, like on MOG or MUBI, it was just a really nice move. It was like a 10x. But what you want to look at is sometimes you can get a fake out up or fake out down first. So let's say you get something like this and then it gets weak, then that's usually a signal that it's going to end up going down instead of up. And same thing on the flip side. If you get a fake out like this, but it reclaims the bottom of the triangle, then usually that means you're going to go up. So just remember that in the future. And that's what happened here. You had a deviation above and it got faked out. I wonder what the RSI looked like on this. So it was a fake out. Oh yeah, it hit the 70 exactly. So that's why it's important to watch that 70, because it doesn't always get above the 70 like this. Sometimes it rejects right at it. And this was your real sign, when it got back below 50 RSI, we know that that's bearish, right? So currently it's way oversold. It's under the 30, just like it was back here. Doesn't mean it can't come down one more time like this, so just be aware of that. But Yeah, I mean, I'm just not interested in this one, right? Because, we wanted the triangle to work out. It didn't. So let's just move on to the next one, right? Okay, this is, what is this called? CAD. I don't know what the name of this project is. Nothing really interesting on this one. It's just sideways. So this is kind of your buy zone, near support. It could lose it. I mean, there's just not a whole lot of information here on this one. It could lose that support. We don't know. So yeah, I would say skip this one. Just not enough information, not interesting enough. Kind of same thing here. Such a long downtrend. I mean, why would you want to mess with this one, right? Yeah, it's currently bearish. I mean, 15 minutes bullish, but that doesn't concern us. We want to see something that gives us like a daily bullish signal. Same thing here. I mean, isn't it interesting, to me anyway? So all of these tokens, like the first 75% of these high conviction tokens, all had a pretty good looking chart. For overall, they were just consolidating. But then once you got to the bottom, when it was the lower market caps, within the high conviction, these just didn't look good. They all look bad. So now here we are, medium conviction tokens, all of the high market caps look pretty good. And now that we're getting into the lower ones like Klima and CAD, they just don't look that good, right? So just keep that in mind. It seems like the lower market caps need more time to get going versus the higher ones. Yeah, so just mostly sideways consolidation. But once they get going, they could make a nice move. Same thing here. In fact, I need to move that. And then this would be the bullish above, like somewhere in here. Maybe even there. And this is called MBD Financials. I mean, there's a chance that it's starting to get some momentum back up. Like if you wanted to take a chance on this one, what you would wait for is the 30 RSI cross up. So as this crosses up, if it ever gets above that line right there, just go ahead and take a chance. And that's if you like this token. If you look it up and you say, okay, I think the team could do something with this one, that would be where you'd want to buy. You want to wait for that 30 RSI to cross back up. Okay. Oh, by the way, these are the lower conviction tokens that I'm into now. So we did Regen, we did MBD. Now we're going to look at FFM and EARN. So although these could still be good projects by the end of the bull run, just understand that they're on the lower end of the spectrum as far as we got our higher conviction, medium conviction. Here's low conviction. What was I looking at? Okay. So here's Florence Finance. I actually have, there's a guy in Nansen Alpha that likes this one a lot. And I have, I don't know, there's something about intuition on this one. I think it could do well. But I don't own any, by the way, just to let you know. This is a higher high if it can hold this support. Let's see, is that a bullish divergence? Maybe. I don't know. I was just looking at this. So if you took a longer look at that, I guess there's not enough information. Anyway, yeah, as long as it holds that support, you're good. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Sometimes on these moves, you get a full retrace. So this came all the way back. Actually, it came under the 786, which shows some weakness. So I don't know, maybe on this one, it might be better to wait for the bullish line to get crossed again because there is a lot of resistance there currently. Yeah, I kind of like that better. So wait for, on something like this, maybe just wait for it to get back above here and accept. And if it can hold that line, then you're good. You're not really giving up much profit in that case, and you're saving yourself a lot of downtrend, if this was to keep going down. Okay, and last one, we're going to look at EARN. Yeah, just not interesting enough on this one, I don't think. It's pretty flat, price action's flat. You want to see something with a lot of volatility. Doesn't matter if it's up or down. Yeah, so I don't even know that I like this one at all, to be honest. Just not interested in it. Okay, let me look at the chat here. Can you look at Maple? Okay, we looked at Maple already. Swarm Markets, Clearpool we looked at, Pendle we looked at, Ondo we looked at. I will look at Swarm. Actually, I may have a chart on this one. So if you want to look at those other ones, you can watch the video back when I post it. Okay, here's Swarm. I think I covered all those. Let me make sure. Maple, Clearpool, Pendle. Yeah, I covered all those. They're all on the spreadsheet. So yeah, we lost support here. So I'm just going to pull that down. And then I'm going to check I want to see what this retracement looked like. Yeah, this retracement could be done. Of course, it's going to really depend on Bitcoin. As long as Bitcoin doesn't do some kind of fast move down, I would say Swarm is probably done with its correction, but it has to hold this support. That's the takeaway here. If you get a daily candle close below support, then I would leave it temporarily. So let's say it does something like this. I mean, worst case scenario, it just kind of plays around here for a little bit and then it loses it. Maybe it comes all the way down to here to this support. One way you could play it is just wait for it to get back above this. And then you save yourself any additional downtrend if it was to go down. And then what you would miss out on going back up, let's say if it did do that, you'd miss out on 86%, well, 80-ish% profit. But does it really matter? I mean, wouldn't you rather not have to deal with any more drawdown? So again, if you want to buy near here, that's fine, because it was near the 30 RSI. But if it loses the support level with a daily candle, like a full daily candle below, then just go ahead and leave it alone, because you can always get back in, right? What you're trying to avoid is the downtrend, because we don't know how long the downtrend might last on something like this. Yeah. Okay. Let me just check. Okay, there's no messages there. Let me just verify. I've got one DM here. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. All right. Well, yeah, I saw you just jumped in, Leo. That's no problem if you're still in here. So just go back. I'll post the video here in an hour or two. And Ondo and Pendle and all those were actually right there at the beginning of the video, I believe. Okay, well, hopefully y'all enjoyed this. I'll try to go over the AI spreadsheets this week too. If I'm not able to get to it, because I do have a full-time job, then I'll get to them next week. But I think it's a good practice to go through these, understand what the rules are on how to enter these plays, whether it's the 30-70 rule, with RSI 30, you're buying down here at the 30 and selling at the 70, or if you're talking about playing near the support lines and bullish lines or the TP lines, which I think this is probably more obvious. Like say, for example, if you get above the TP line with a daily candle, but then it closes back below it with a daily candle, then, maybe you want to take some profits there. Or just maybe in general, you want to take some profits if it does hit the line. But that is in the education channel, by the way. It tells you everything. Where am I at? There's a section here not far from the top. Yeah, right here. It'll tell you what the conservative route is, taking your initial out on a 2x, or maybe taking initial out on a 3x. That's the more aggressive. I mean, these are just examples, right? I mean, this is something you can do. It's just to kind of get you started thinking about it. And then we've got a spreadsheet here that it's really simple to use. Like if you want to find out what or how many tokens you need to reach a certain target value, like there's a goal that you're trying to hit for one token, and these are probably a little bit inflated, like trying to hit 1 million with one token is, it's kind of wild. But cubic, for example, here, any blue area you can change, like you can put the value in, and then you can find out how much gain it needs to reach that point, how many tokens you need. So these two are locked, but the blue areas, you can change any of those. So final expected price on cubic, just guessing, is 4 zeros and a 4. Current price is 164, which is probably changed at this point. But when you change these, like let's say if I just change it to like 200 or something, you're going to see the amount of tokens needed change. Or I thought you would. Did it mess up again? let's see, B2. Oh, that may be when you, okay. Sorry, I think it's when you change the final expected price. Let's see. Yeah, there it goes. All right, so then you know exactly how many tokens you need to reach that point and how much gain it needs to also reach that point based on the current price versus the expected final price at the end of the bull run. So you can do that on any of these. I've got 5 of them set here. Change the token name, change the value that you're trying to reach. You know, maybe it's just, well, but maybe it's $100,000. So now you just need, what, 2 billion, 2.5 billion, which whatever that amount is. I mean, I could put another thing here saying how much USD that would be, but don't have to do it. But you can see it works. And then down here, this is much more simple. Like say with cubic, if I did think it was going to hit 4, I'll just copy that actually. So now I've got my 2x, my 3x, 4, 5, all the way up to 100x. And you know, all of these are protected cells, so you can't change those, but you can change, oh, that's the purchase, sorry. What is that, 5 zeros? So if I was to purchase it at 5 zeros and a 2, these are the levels that I would want to set my take profit. So if I just set 10% at each area, I can, you know, I'm taking profit at 10% profit at each level. Or if I want to take my initials out at 2x, then I sell 50% of my amount of cubic that I own at this number. And I'm not saying I'm doing that. I'm just saying, you know, these are some examples you can use. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And I will get this video processed as soon as I can, get it posted. This is only going out to the members, so just be aware of that. You know, nobody in public's going to see this because the spreadsheet stuff, I mean, it's proprietary. Tatiana and the team, which part of the team is me and Rod too, but some people in our group also helped with it. So, you know, we thank everybody for their assistance with that, obviously. So, you know, check the research channel. There's plenty of information there. I mean, there's a lot to take in. Just take your time with it if you're new. If you have any questions, let me know. And make sure you keep watching these alert channels because sometimes you will get, what is this one? Trump, oh yeah, Trump X keeps popping up. So just understand that even if you don't have a Nansen account, you can still click on these things, and it should be able to give you some, you know, some basic information for free with Nansen. So yeah, you can still click through and see those things. Okay, well, I'm going to end it there. Appreciate y'all joining. Again, any questions, let me know, and we'll do another one of these hopefully this week. If not, it'll be next week, and that'll do it. Y'all have a good start to your week.